Hello and welcome to this video about drawing emotes for Illustrator. The first thing you're going to do is open Illustrator. Once you're in Illustrator, you're going to click File and then New. You want to make sure that the width and height are 500 pixels each, and make sure they are pixels, and click Create. Next, you're going to go to Google or wherever you have an image, copy the image, paste it into your workspace, and resize the image so it fits most of the workspace without cutting it off too much. And something to note here is you should grab a real image of something and cartoonize it instead of grabbing a cartoon image, because then you're just stealing someone else's work. Next step is to create your layers. So layers are important because you're drawing things that are overlapping each other. So this way you can edit things in each layer individually instead of editing it all at once. Your first layer is going to be color, and then you have your picture one that you already added. Your next one is going to be outline. Next is shading. Next we have highlighting. And lastly, we have black. So the black is because you can edit things more accurately when you edit them both on white background and a black background. Now I'm ordering them so that the outline is at the top, highlights and shading below that, color below that, black, and then the picture at the very bottom. Now we're going to start our outline. So when you do the outline, pick your color and make sure you are actually in the outline. I noticed that mine stayed in picture even after I clicked outline, so really make sure you're in outline or else you're gonna have to restart. When I pick my colors for the outline, I've always picked a color that's darker than the base color, shading, and highlighting. And then just make sure your thickness is, not too thin, not too thick, just kind of a good size. And now I will be going to coloring. So again, we're picking the color from the image and just coloring it in. Don't worry too much about mistakes. Next step is to do the highlighting. So you're gonna click the highlighting layer and take away the color you just did. Not delete it, but just click that little eye so it goes away. And then you're just gonna highlight where you see highlights in the picture. And you can always change it up a bit too, like I did. I didn't do it exactly like the picture. I wanted to kind of make sure it looked good as a cartoon. Now we're doing the shading and the shading layer. So again, I picked that color from the image and just shading where I think it should be shaded. You wanna make sure your shading again is not darker than the outline. Okay, next step is I am changing up the shading and highlighting because I did not like the colors after I showed it in my full image. So the colors just didn't match to me. So now I'm just experimenting with colors to see which the base color should be for the grilled cheese. And again, because your color layer is underneath your shading and highlights, you won't be coloring over it, so there's no problem there. And next, I believe I didn't like the color of the shading of the grilled cheese, so I'm about to change that. It was too red. It just didn't go with the other shades, even though that's the actual color of the real grilled cheese, but it just didn't look good in the cartoon. And next we're going into our nitty-gritty stage. It's where you're editing everything. So I'm doing some erasing, which didn't work out how I thought it would. I think I did something wrong with the erasing tool or something. That's why it erased everything. But so I'm fixing that up. See, there wasn't even highlights where I'm doing right now, but the grilled cheese didn't look 3D enough to me, so that's why I added highlights there and those lines in the outline. So you're just fixing everything up. So I'm doing it in a white background right now, fixing the highlights, making them more smooth, the shading smooth. I just want everything to have smooth corners, smooth curves, and it's actually easier to do that, I find, in Illustrator. I mean, there's probably a tool in Photoshop that it will automatically smooth out your edges and stuff, but in Illustrator it just does it right away. So, and I'm always a little shaky when I'm drawing, so it pretty much smooths out my shakiness. Whereas Photoshop, it logs all my shakiness in the picture. Next, I'm about to add the black background. So I'm just using a square tool, black square, to add that in the background. It's much easier to see when you color over the lines with the black background. And again, I haven't figured out the erasing tool quite yet. I figured that out after I ended this video, but okay, so now we're done, and so we're gonna save the image. To do that, you need to export as, and you want to save it as a PNG. If you just click save as, you don't get the option for the PNG. So I'm saving it in my PNG Emotes folder. I use these for Twitch and Discord usually. So I'm gonna click OK. I was just making sure everything was good and ready to go. But now, so your image is still 500 by 500. For Twitch, you need an image that is 112 by 112. So I used this Adobe website, sparkadobe.com. It's free. To download your image, you do have to log in. Now, I already have an Adobe account, so that's why I just logged in with my account. But it is free, and so you're going to change it to 112 by 112. And the difference between Photoshop and Illustrator is that this is a vector image, so you can make it bigger or smaller and the image will look the same. There's no distortion, there's no pixelation. If you resize a small image bigger, like if I resized a 112 image to 500 in Photoshop, it's gonna look very blurry, but that will not happen in Illustrator. And I'm just opening the image to show you, and there you go, there's the grilled cheese. That's the size it will be when you add it into Twitch. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped in your journey to making emotes. Please like and subscribe if you liked this video, you found it helpful, and thanks for watching.